Our next speaker this afternoon is Jean Acevedo. Jean was recommended to me by the Florida Society of Rheumatology. She's president of Acevedo Consulting in Delray Beach. She's been a workshop presenter for the American Academy of Professional Coders, a member of the advisory board for Parsis, which is a company that runs automated audits. She's an instructor at Florida Atlantic University, a member of the several Coding Institute editorial advisory boards. Since 2008, she's presented on coding and documentation to the medical staff of Broward Health Best Choice. She works with CMS's Medicare Provider Feedback Group. She's a member of the Jurisdiction 9 MAX Provider Outreach and Education Advisory Group. And her firm is endorsed by a number of organizations: Palm Beach County Medical Association, American Academy of Hospice, and the Florida Society of Rheumatology. And she's going to talk today about PQRI.
And I did not pay Mike for all those very kind words. Couldn't have done that. I don't have that much money. So one of the things that he did. Oh, and I see why he was covering his eyes. One of the things that Dr. Schweitz had left that maybe Jean could explain was why, when you send in information, especially if you're sending an appeal before the 30 days, so you can stop any offset or having to pay it until your appeal process is through. Why would you send a copy of everything to the Financial Services Department of your Medicare contractor? That's because don't assume that the appeal department, the medical review department, is going to very timely send it into that department, and that's the department that actually has the ability to offset payments. So I always just recommend send the exact copy, the letter at least, not all the attachments, the letter to that department as well, so that you're sure that your monies are not offset. So Dr. Schweitz talked about your money being taken away. I have the distinct pleasure of talking about something that might actually make you an extra $1 this year. And yes, where I know that there are horror stories out there that doctors have not gotten bonuses, and they've gone through all the gyrations of reporting for PQRI. We have nicely had several practices that have taken a little bit of time and thought to implement a PQRI reporting system in their office and have gotten monies. There is a small rheumatology practice in the town where I live and work that last year their check was a little over $20,000. So even in your specialty, and we've seen them as high as, for a 6-doctor group, $72,000. So done correctly, it really isn't a bad thing. And I think, and I'd like to think that for the doctors and their staff that are here, that you can go back looking at it this way. All it really is assigning additional codes to services and evaluations that your doctors are doing anyway, because that's really what it boils down to. So then I need to talk about a couple of other things, because with a little bit of trepidation, I really believe that the Medicare payment system is in the process of some dramatic changes. I didn't used to have a disclaimer until someone called me about 9 months after a presentation and complained that the information I'd given 9 months before was no longer valid. So I've decided I need a disclaimer to tell you that this information is current and accurate today. 9 months from now, hey, don't hold me to it. Anybody notice? The system changes. So we'll go over PQRI, something called value-based purchasing, and comparative effectiveness a little bit. Physician Quality Reporting Initiative. It's been out there since 2007. And it is a financial incentive program for physicians and some other health practitioners, so your nurse practitioners, PAs you may have in your practice. Those of you who do physical therapy and are billing under the physical therapist, your therapist can also take the opportunity to generate an incentive bonus payment for the practice that could be equal to, if you report successfully, 2% of your total Medicare allowed charges, paid off of the Medicare physician fee schedule. So what does that mean? First, what isn't included in that for Medicare dollars? Any payments from a Medicare Advantage plan, so Humana Gold patients, that revenue is not included. And for rheumatology, the only other thing I can think of would be your labs. So your SED rates, et cetera, that you do in office and build a Medicare program, take that revenue out. But other than that, run a report. If someone hasn't already, look at the 2009 reports that were run at the year end. what was your total Medicare charges paid? Just take out Medicare Part B, take out your lab component, and multiply that by 2%, and that's what you could have gotten if you reported last year. And that would be actually an understatement, because I guarantee you that you've got at least one patient that didn't pay their deductible, or another one that didn't pay the 20% and doesn't have a coinsurance, and the 2% is on your total Medicare Part B allowed charges, not just what checks came in the door. So it can be in a substantial amount of money, and with that 21.29% Medicare cut looming that technically went into effect on April 1st, any additional 2% dollars, I'm an ex-practice manager. I personally feel if I was still doing this, come hell or high water, I'd be getting that money from my doctor. So I can get on my high horse about that. You need to know who can participate. I pretty much have stated who all of those are. Any type of physician, physician assistants, nurse practitioners, clinical nurse specialists. You don't have typically any of the others in your offices, but PAs and nurse practitioners, as well as any doctor, and if you have physical and/or occupational therapists in your office, and you're billing under their NPIs, they also can report. And there are a couple of measures that they can report on, whether or not, and they should actually be reporting on, because it's an evaluation I would hope that they'd be doing. Anyway, is what is the patient's risk for falls? And if the patient has fallen within the last, I think it's 12 months, at least once. The second measure is, did they develop a plan of care to help them prevent future falls? Well, these things are really quite reasonable. So everybody that can bill in your office can actually help generate those dollars. Because the dollars, when they come, are by individual NPI, payable to the practice. So if you're, where are we, Destin? If we're Destin Rheumatology Associates, check comes is there a Destin Rheumatology Associates here? Did I just make you some money? Check comes payable to Destin Rheumatology Associates for each one of the doctors and/or non-physician practitioners who reported successfully. There are different options this year. This, along with a couple of other things, how many in the audience actually did participate already for PQRI? Oh, a few of you. Did you participate prior to last year? So in 2008, did you get money? No, you did. Okay, so 50%, that's about the running average. Anybody doing e-prescribing? More hands. Ah, cool. So this isn't my topic, but you all do realize that the reporting for Medicare to get a second and separate 2% bonus changed this year, that there's only one code, not 3 like there was last year, G8553, and you only have to report it 25 for each provider again, 25 different encounters, so 25 E&M codes, and you're done for the year. It's easy as possible. You know, okay, there's one code this year for reporting e-prescribing. It's G8553. Its definition is, and I'm going to paraphrase, I have a qualified e-prescribing system. I'm not just e-faxing. I actually have an e-prescribing system. And for this encounter that's on the claim today, I gave the patient 1 or more prescriptions that went electronically. And do that 25 times for 25 different encounters, i.e. an evaluation and management service code, you're done. That's it. Couldn't be any easier. And that's the program that still has a 2% bonus this year. Next year goes down to 1 or 1.5%, then 0.5%. And in 2013, I believe it is, has the stick. That's the carrot. The stick comes where, for those of you who didn't raise your hand, the 70% of you whose hands did not go up, you'll have 1%, then 1.5%, then 2% taken out of your Medicare checks. The hands that went up for e-prescribing, would you go back to paper? Right? No, nobody would. Right? Nobody would. I never have a doctor say, oh yeah, I can't stand it. I've been doing it for a while and I'd much rather have paper prescriptions again. You don't get those calls from the pharmacy. I can't read the handwriting. Is it 1.25 milligrams or 0.125? Patients' drugs that you prescribed isn't on formulary. Patients aren't unhappy again. A lot of that just comes to a screeching halt. And for anybody who prescribes any Schedule II narcotics, oh, thank you, whoever did that, you'll realize that you should be happy to know that the DEA, just within the last 10 days, promulgated a rule to try to figure